This is the Bible Ranger talking about getting out of debt, episode 5, and now those are all the videos. Now, this particular series will be preparing for end times. There'll be a lot of different ones in this end times. All right, what kind of dreams did you have when you was a child? Now, they were limitless because there was nothing to get in your way because you don't think about those things. Now, when you get older, your dreams shrink into the size of the money you have. Like, for example, I like to go here, I like to go there, but we can't do it. I like to buy that because we don't have the money. And basically, life kind of beats us up. What happened? Warning, this is a possibility of what could happen. You could become a slave to debt. I definitely was. Into debt we got. We bought something we couldn't afford. My wife said, no, we can't afford it. I said, yes, let's just suffer for a little while and we'll make some money off of this thing. And we got into debt. She was right and I was wrong. We ate soup for a year. And this is basically what we ate. We actually ate these ramen noodle soups. We ate the egg, that was a meat product, but we didn't have this fancy garnish over here. In America, the reality check is that the average credit card household, it ranges from year to year. So I just put a range here from 10K to 16K. That's a lot. If you make the minimum payments, it'll take about 20 years to pay this thing off. Society spending is totally out of control, but it's normal thinking. But normal thinking is broke. It's you versus a financial institution. The more knowledge they keep from you, the more they can actually take advantage of you. Or the more you know, the less you're going to be able to be taken advantage of. There's a way out. The solution is simple, but it's not easy. All right, why do we need to get out of debt? Very important, marriages. Number one reason for getting divorced and arguments is money. Maybe it stops you from discussing things with your spouse, you hide things, it just becomes a problem. So marriage gets affected. Your health. Money stresses you out. And the number one problem of health is stress. You know how we have that fight or flight response? And that's good if you're in a tight situation, but you can't live your life on stress. It breaks the body down. The other one is you lose your freedom. In the Bible, in Proverbs 22:7, it says that the person who borrows is a servant to the lender, or in King James, a slave to the lender. So basically, if that doesn't make sense to you, think about the times where there's a person who's always following you around, and he's always want to borrow $2 or $3, $5, and you're there to lend it to them. But then when you want it back, you can't find them. Or you're the one that borrows the money. Now they're looking for you and you can't be found. Do you see where they have some control over your life? Well, that's the relationship of a slave and an owner, basically. All right, how do we get into debt? Marketing, advertisements, some of them, sometimes they're effective. Bad advice, keeping up with the Joneses, ignorance, indulgence. Well, that's difficult to control. It's got to be done though. Poor planning. You can wander into debt, but you're not going to wander out. You need a plan. Advice from wise King Solomon. Now, this is the secret here. So don't miss this. This is really important. Around in Proverbs 6:1-5, it says this. If you strike a deal with a person, like a contract, don't get any sleep until it's resolved. Is that important? Is that important? And it also says things like, don't co-sign for somebody. If you're co-signing is because they're a risky deal. And if they fall out of their payment plan, they're going to come after you. So don't do that either. Also, it says that to escape like a gazelle out of the grasp of the hunter. Now, what does that mean? Now, picture yourself in the plains of Africa, and you have a cheetah, and the cheetah is the predator. And the gazelle is the second fastest land animal in the world, 60 miles an hour. Now the hunter, the cheetah, 70 miles an hour, the fastest. Now you would think he would have the advantage and always catch the gazelle. but he doesn't actually. The gazelle knows that if he gets caught, it's all over. Now, if the cheetah doesn't catch that gazelle, it can always catch another one. So the gazelle has more intensity. This is what you need to get. You have to get the intensity of getting out of debt. Now, being in debt is not a math problem. That's only in elementary math. It's actually a behavioral problem. Decide that you want to get out of debt. It has to be a mindset like, I am tired of this. I can't take it anymore. And that's the mindset you have to have. Now you got to build an emergency fund of $1,000, $1,000. You got to do that quickly and get it out of the way. The reason you want to do this is because life happens. You get a flat tire, the washing machine breaks, the freezer breaks, something happens where it stops the flow of what you're trying to get out of debt, when you're trying to get out of debt. So if you have an emergency fund, it'll kind of smooth the transition. Now, if you make $24,000 or less, go ahead and save $500 first instead of $1,000. Now, to get this $1,000, I mean, sell something. We all have a lot more things that we actually need. Have a garage sale, our yard sale, put it on eBay, put it on Craigslist, get a second job. Now, budgeting is extremely important. Control your money or your money will stomp on you. Look at this picture here. This is your budget without, this is your money without a budget. It's a poor little cowboy here. He's getting all stomped up. Now, the same bull with this nose ring representing a budget can be controlled. A child can probably pull this. Now, Dave Ramsey, he has a free app called Every Dollar app. You load that, you can actually go ahead and within minutes, I guess 20 minutes, 15 minutes, depending how complicated it is, you can come up with your own budget. Now, step 3, eliminating debt elimination method. Stop borrowing money. That's really important. Okay, now this is illustrated by this water excess flow here. And these people are trying to clean up the mess. And anybody knows that you cannot clean up this mess if the water is still flowing. Well, this flow of water is you borrowing money. So that has to stop. Once that stops, then you can actually clean the floor up. All right, let's get started. List your bills from smallest to largest. All right, don't worry about the interest rate. Okay, we're not looking for an interest rate. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is that you need a victory. So we got to get that one paid off first, the lowest one. And then once you know you can pay this off, it encourages you, and then you start creating some momentum, and that's what we want. Now, it's very important that you have an accountability partner. It'd be best if you have your spouse with you to do it, because it's like the story of the horsepower. I think the numbers are right. Like one horse can pull like 800 pounds. And if you put another horse next to it to help it out, you would think 800 pounds here and 800 pounds there would be 1,600 pounds. But it doesn't work like that. It actually it triples and a little bit more. It actually comes out to 2,900 pounds. I don't know how that works out, but it has the same principle in which you and your spouse work together. She encourages you, you're encouraging her, and then you together, you guys will do incredible things. So let's get started with this. These are your bills, hypothetically, from the smallest to largest. These are all the minimum payments. This is the total debt. And this is the first payment, $25, and you have added $200. Now you're saying, where am I going to get the $200? The next slide, I think, will give you some ideas. So when you make your $25 payment and your $200, you add up to, it adds up to $225. In 2 months period of time, you will have this one totally paid off. Now that you have paid this one off, this one becomes part of the next bill. 225 becomes 225. That 225 plus the minimum of this one comes out to a total of 265. That 265, in about 2 or 3 months of payment, you will have this one paid off. Now you have a total of the 40, the 25, and the 200 comes out to a total of 265. Plus this payment here, your total payment for the next one will be $340. After 2 months of paying that off, you would have paid this one off in 2 months. So let me make that clear. This one took you 2 months to pay. This one took you 2 or 3 months to pay. And this one took you another 2 months to pay. So you've been paying this for 6 months. Now, the first 3 are paid off, and they add up to $340. All these up here, plus the $200. So now you're making a total payment of $490, which comes out to an additional 2 months. Additional 2 months, you have this one paid off. So the next one, you're going to have all this money you were paying here, which comes out to $490 plus the $350, a total of $840, and that's going to be somewhere between 4 to 6 months of payments, and then this one's going to be totally paid off. So all this will be paid off somewhere between 14 months and 16 months, and I got to get me a pad so I can write better. All right. Now, bonus. This is where you can get some money. Switch from cash value insurance to term insurance, and we're going to be talking about that in the future. Switch from cable or satellite TV to streaming channels, like, for example, Netflix, Hulu, those type of channels. And that, what is that, $6.99, $7.99 a month? That's good savings there. If you're a coffee drinker, instead of buying Starbucks, you go to McDonald's, spend your 99 cents, and start saving money there. You're thinking, well, that's my luxury. Look, if you're a gazelle and you're being chased by cheetahs, you don't have time to go to a beautiful patch of green grass. You're running for your life. Well, this is going to change your whole life. So let's focus here. Now, theaters. Well, right now we're closed down because of COVID, but even then, you can go to the library for free and take out all the DVDs you want. Just don't forget to return them. And I have something to say about COVID in episode 1. All right, restaurants. Some of them are opening up. So instead of going to restaurants to buy and spend extra money, start cooking at home and do it as a home project. You know, you be surprised what can happen there. I like what Dave Ramsey says. He says, I don't want to see you in a restaurant unless you work in one. So that's pretty funny. So if you have services or subscriptions that you're not using, or clubs, put them on hold, and right now don't use them. You can save some money there. Gift giving. Christmas is coming around the corner. It's not a surprise. It comes around the same time every year. Downsize your gifts. Tell people, look, I'm in a program right now, or in a bind. I know there's a lot of pride involved, but this is going to change your family. Or you can make crafts. A lot of things on YouTube you can find out. Bring your own food to work. This can save you here alone somewhere between $150 and $200 a month, just this one alone. The other one is downsizing car, or you carpool. If you don't necessarily need that fancy car you have, just get a good, reliable used car, and that'll save you a lot of money too. Shop around for lower costing insurances, house insurance, fire insurance, car insurance, life insurance, and we'll talk more about that in the future. All right, turn down the temperature on your water heater. Now, if you have to adjust with cold water, it's probably too hot and you don't need it that hot. And you can save $10 a month or $15 a month doing this alone. Raise the deductions on your insurances. Now that you have, this is good to do once you build up your emergency fund, because you might be having a deduction of $200 when you can raise it to $500. And where am I going to get the $500? Well, you have an emergency plan. Lower your phone bill, shop around. They got deals all the time. Buy a Magic Jack, something. All right, you can come up, you and your family, make it a game. Come up with over 100 of these things if you really try. Now it starts to get fun. All right, you max out your emergency fund for 3 to 6 months. And what that means is if your monthly expenses are $200 to $1,000 a month, it's $2,000 a month times the number of months. So that would be 2 times 3 is $6,000. That would be a minimum. And 6 times 2 would be 12. And this would have came in really handy if you're laid off because of the COVID, right? Dave Ramsey says right here, he says that, this is good for a rainy day, and be prepared because rainy days are coming. Now, investment. and there'll be separate episodes for this too. But max out your investments, especially the 401k, because they match you. Okay, get them up to 15%. Open up your Roths, open up your traditional IRAs. Now the next one, believe it or not, your mortgage. If you continue paying at the same rate and the same system that you've done paying all your bills, all it will take you is an additional 11 years and you will pay off your house. Believe it or not, it's not that difficult once you establish and made up your mind. Now, this is really important. Once you got everything paid off, don't go back into debt. These people are waiting for you. They call bad times assistance because they take advantage of people in bad times. All right, so I like this from Dave Ramsey. Sharks are waiting. It says the decision to go into debt alters the course condition of your life. You no longer own it, you are owned. Basically, that's what it says in Proverbs 22:7. The borrower is slave to the lender. All right, now number 7, you become a generous giver. Imagine the money that you can give out and the causes you can help. If you just went ahead and had no debt. Now, I like what Winston Churchill says. We make a living with what we get. We make a life with what we give. I covered that already. And imagine the people you can help around the world, especially the mission field, which they need a lot of help. All right, it's decision time. You can either line the pockets and buy those big, huge buildings of the people, financial institutions downtown, or that money can go into your family, destiny, and legacy. You can change your whole family. They no longer have to be in debt. You pass the debt on to another set of people. Now, you can do this. My desire is for you to get out of debt and yell, freedom! Now, I don't do it as good as Mel Gibson, but I try. Now, this is the most important thing. You can get totally out of debt. You can become a millionaire or multimillionaire. You can change your family's legacy, but we all need to make sure we repent and get right with the Lord. In Matthew 8:36, it says this: what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose your soul? What would you give in exchange for your soul? In other words, the soul is priceless. Now, this is the Bible Ranger here, making the Bible simple, but rich in content, and become a good steward of your money. Please share the site, thumbs up, and God bless.